All right, so you guys probably wonder why I'm putting gloves on. Axles. I already did one, and I made a mess. And I figured, since everybody says, and the keyboards are on fire with people saying that I don't use my tools and I don't work. So let's get into it. These are axles on a 3-liter. So these are the old flat face ones. There's an updated boot. You actually use 986 boots with new hardware. So I'll show you guys how to bust these apart. We're gonna do some cleaning. You're gonna need a ton of rags. You're gonna need a ton of paper towels and basic tools. Let's get it. All right, so first thing we'll do, chuck this bad boy up in the vise. This is where you need, one of you guys wants to jump through the screen, give me a hand here, it'd be awesome. So first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna slide this boot back, get it out of our way, and then we got a snap ring here that I'm not even gonna mess with because they're always stuck. And you're gonna replace these puppies anyway, so you don't have to get crazy with them, but I just slide it around a little bit to unstick it. Slide that guy in there. Come on, little. Does anybody hate snap rings as much as I do? All right, so garbage can, we're gonna need a garbage can. So I throw everything away in the garbage can. And then I use a bearing splitter. I take my bearing splitter, I run it this way. So I run it the flat side in. Back in the day, I used to just try to hit these things off, and all you're doing is wasting time. You can get it eventually, but why struggle? Let me get this here. Oh my God, I should have tried that first. Ha! Go home and buy a lottery ticket, because that boy popped right off. Jeez. All right, throw that away, that gets replaced. Put this guy up here, this guy over there. And then basically what you want to do is you just want to roll these guys down all the way up and then pop your balls out. See if we can get through this without the phone ringing. And this is where you can kind of tell if your balls are messed up.
Funny, right?
If this thing's been abused and had neutral drops on it and all kinds of crazy stuff, you'll see these start to get messed up where they don't rotate in there very well. So these, some of them are directional, these are not. Some of them will have a flat face here for the snap ring, and then it'll have a dish face on this side, but these early axles do not. Take that off, throw that away. Grab some towels. And then I just, I try to pre-wipe so we don't get before we go to the parts cleaner, I try to pre-wipe so we don't get the parts cleaner all gummed up with nastiness. Even though that eventually happens, but if you can save your solution with this, it makes a big difference. It's about $2,500 every time we change solution. So you try to make it last 30 days. Do that with this. Just a little bit of pre-wipe. Can't get everything. Place that there. I inspect my cages. Make sure I don't have any ridges or high spots or hot spots, or this looks pretty good. Get your balls cleaned up. I like saying that, it's funny.
Stop it. Get some help.
Get this bad boy wiped down some more. And when I go to the parts cleaner, I'm not getting these like super clean because we're just changing grease. I try to get the outside as clean as possible. All right, let me grab some brake clean. All right, grab some brake clean. I'm gonna super soak the garbage can. Might have to go to the parts cleaner. Sometimes the grease that these people use is like super crazy, but it looks like this has been kind to us. And then grab this guy, clean this guy off. And then we'll clean this guy off. You always want to inspect. You want to make sure that your cages aren't super worn. You want to make sure there's no burrs on them. Everything's got to rotate freely, as well as your balls. I've seen balls get so hot they turn blue balls.
I need to see you a boss.
Imagine that. But I've seen such heat build up in these things that the balls actually turn hard and turn blue that way, which is crazy. So let's pop this guy back on. Let me get some parts. Look at this. My tools actually do get dirty. Come on, guys. All right, so this is the updated. So you gotta change the screws out. The screws are like 10 millimeters shorter because you don't have that thick flange. That other flange was about thick, but it wasn't recessed, so it didn't slide over. So you gotta change the flange first, or the screws first. What I do here is I just take my pry bar, I stick it in over the top like this, and just work it a little bit around. Slide that guy back on there. Go past. We need as much working room as we can get here. So slide that guy past. I grab grease. I squeeze the first little bit out because the first little bit of grease always seems to be super watery. Put your Belleville on, and then I just take this, You have to go crazy. I guess this is crazy, but just want to get a coating of grease on it. Nothing special. Get a coating of grease on that, and then the not the cage, but whatever this thing's called, I can't remember. This, I do get a little bit more aggressive with the grease. I kind of pack it in there a little bit. This is where your balls are going to sit. Remember, we're not directional, so you don't have to worry about that. So I'll get to it in a second, but there is a couple things to pay attention to so you don't bind this guy up when you get him in. So if you notice, and I should have done it before I put the grease all over it, if you notice here, we got a big fat guy and we got a small guy. So we got that small little radius right there, or that small flat surface there, and we got a big one there. Big goes to small, so that's how you avoid binding up as you go back together. If you don't pay attention to that, as soon as you try to fit your balls in there, you're gonna be in a world of hurt. Ask me how I know. So, there's no way to do this clean. Ain't happening. So you can see it here. See how we have a small, we have a big one here and a small one here and a big one here and a small one here. So this big flat here is going to go with the small one here on this one. So then what I do, forgot to lube our balls. Throw that guy out there. Get our balls all nice and lubed up. Put the 2 in. So you start with 2. Start with 2, make sure they roll around nice. Identify, we have a big one here, so we're gonna go find our small one here, which is right there, and we're just gonna stick it in the hole. Or try to. So see how we got the big surface, small surface, big surface to small. That's important because if you don't do it that way, you will never, ever get these guys in. It'll bind up. And just rotate it around. Try not to get yourself bound up here. Now you're back together. So, what I do here is I just grab my sledgehammer. Just grab my sledgehammer, pound that guy on. Like that. Take a rag. You're not adding more grease at this point. So, all you're doing is you're just trying to not lose what you put in there, but you don't want to add a ton of grease. So as these things heat up, they expand, and you have to give the grease or the gases somewhere to go. And if you don't, and you overpack this thing with grease, you'll end up just exploding the boot. So then what I do, I shove 2 bolts in this way so I can locate my holes. And then Grab our snap ring, make sure we go the right way with our snap ring. So if you don't know, snap rings have an inside, I don't know if you can pick it up on camera, it's got a chamfer right there, and it's got a hard surface or a cut right there. So this has a chamfer and this doesn't. Slap that guy on there. And then you'll see, I'll just start to work it this way, like this. And you'll see it snap together, which it just did. But I hit it a couple extra times. I want that bad boy coming off. Then I slide my boot back up to where it needs to sit on the ridge. Then it's time for bolts. All right, so then what we'll do, remember these cars, these old 3-liter cars have a seal on it. So you want to make sure that you're as clean as you can possibly be on this edge here for your seal. Call that good to go. So a job like this pays, I think, 2.43. So you gotta move. You definitely have to move. You can't sit there and take your time. See if this one comes off. Look at that. Wow. Won the lottery. 2 in a row. The other ones were on there so tight, I had to use my puller. So basically I throw a bearing puller on and I just use a 3-jaw, impact it off, and pull those puppies straight off. Look at all that nasty grease on there. Mrs. Olsen's really trying to get a hold of me today. I hear she's got her own text message notification. You know, her own ringtone, and that's her ringtone. Probably wondering, what the heck is he doing? All right, so let's get our balls cleaned off and inspected. Why is he not answering the phone? I can hear it now. Well, guys, it's Friday. You know, try not to answer the phone on a Friday. Try to get done. Like I said, you're not gonna go home clean after a job like this. Don't wear your Sunday best. Don't wear anything expensive. All right, so let's get the garbage can a nice little introduction to some brake clean. And as I clean this, I'm inspecting it visually. Kind of already felt it when I took it apart. Sweet. What a mess. What a mess. All right, so let's get this guy. Same sort of deal. Get it packed full. There. This guy a good film. This guy packed. I can't remember the spec. I think it's like, I don't know, 100 grams or manufacturer spec on how much grease to use. Probably way off with that. Basically same as the other side. Get this guy to sit in there, find our holes. Somebody's really trying to get a hold of me. Hold on a second, I'm showing the homies how to do an axle. All right, so big guy. So we want to go here. Yeah, we want to go here. What did I do? Did I just make a mistake?
I'll get to it in a second, but there is a couple things to pay attention to so you don't bind this guy up when you get him in. We got a big fat guy and we got a small guy. Big goes to small, so that's how you avoid binding up as you go back together.
All right, so big guy. So we want to go here.
Oh no! No!
I did exactly what I told you guys not to do. So let's see if we can't. I went right to the big guy. You idiot. All right, where do we not have a ball? I just took a 10-minute job and went to 20 minutes. You idiot. How we're gonna correct this mess. So, looks like we gotta go down. Looks like we gotta go down. So, let's see. Looks like it's here. What a mess. So I completely screwed myself. What an idiot. What an idiot. Hey, we're all human. We're all human. We all make mistakes. So if we can get a couple of these balls popped out. Ah, oh, sweet. Won a lottery on that one. Won the lottery. So basically what happens is when these things, when you get your third ball in there, you don't give it enough room to rotate. And if I had tried to force that, we'd have had a really bad day. I seen guys try to force that the wrong way, end up destroying the axle. So you end up destroying the axle and basically got to buy a new one. When they get stuck, I mean, they get stuck. It's crazy. It is crazy. I don't know if you guys can hear, my phone is just blowing up over here. And I'm expecting a call from somebody, and it's an important one, so I can't go on Do Not Disturb. Lost my ball. There it is. All right, look at that. Jeez. Throw some grease on here. Still can't believe I did that. What an idiot. Make sure that we're started. There. Grab a new snap ring. Usually when you make a mistake like that, it's crazy because then it just snowballs. Like here, it just snowballed on me because what did I forget to do? I made a simple mistake. This is where the mechanics game is tough. You make a simple mistake and then you get out of the groove.
No! You threw off my groove!
I'm sorry, but you've thrown off the Emperor's groove.
Of what you're trying to do. Your phone's blowing up and people are calling, and it takes a lot of focus. Especially in my position, it takes a lot of focus to be perfect every time. And I'm not afraid to admit it. I'm not afraid to admit that not everything goes perfectly always as planned. But we're still gonna make our time. We're still gonna beat our time getting this back together. But that's how mistakes go. Usually you get in a mental state. You know, I'm shooting a video, my phone's blowing up, stuff, you know, it's happening. It's Friday, trying to get out of here. And they say what mistakes come in threes. She's still not popped in. There she goes. There she goes. Sweet. All right. Now that I made just an absolute mess with grease, I'm gonna try to save a step here. 'Cause now that's the other thing, when you start to make mistakes like that, little, you know, stupid mistakes, then you can't cut corners, but you gotta find ways to catch back up. Catch back up, get back in that groove, and just being awesome without cutting corners. Cannot cut corners. That's the most important. Take my brake clean, my rag, clean all that off. Clean my mating surface off. And this job is done, with the exception of, now we've got to clean up our mess. And I'll show you how I clean my mess up, because everybody on the internet jumps on the keyboards and makes them go crazy about how I don't use any of my tools, which it's very obvious here that I do. So I just grab clean up my little area here, like I was never here. Doesn't take long. I think, you know where I learned this? I learned this from two things. One, I was in Motorsports for years. And when you're in Motorsports, everything has to be clean. You know, there's sponsors and, you know, people all over the place. And that paid good money to be there. So it's important to stay clean. So grab some rags, douse ourselves down. So basically what I do with my tools is I do not put them back in the box at all unless they're clean. And some of these are really old tools, which I've had for many years. Oh, that didn't work. Jesus, how'd that happen? Yeah, I've had a lot of these tools for many years. You gotta take pride. You gotta take pride in your stuff. You gotta take care of your stuff, because this is how we make our money. We literally make money off of our tooling. So you gotta have nice stuff, and you gotta keep it clean. Clean up my little Snap-on logo. Yeah, because you gotta keep your kit clean, because if you don't, and you need to take this inside of a car or something, what are you gonna do? I mean, it literally takes. It probably takes me 15 minutes at the end of the day to clean up my area, my tools, scrub the floor, all that. I'm totally okay with it, because then I come in the next day fresh, everything's clean, ready to rock and roll, pick up some clean tools and go to town. But I've been doing this for so many years, and you know, if you'll have tools that have wear on them, of course, but they ain't gonna be dirty. And then once a month, or once every other month, however, whenever they start to get bad, I empty out my socket drawer, and I got a 60-gallon ultrasonic cleaner, and I go to town with that. Everything's cleaned off, ready to go back in the box, and we got our axles ready to go back in the car. So hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching.